Welcome to the Learn to Sew Academy channel. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
In this video, I'm going to be doing a pencil knit skirt. So you can use a stretchy or a knit fabric for this project. I'm going to be marking on the wrong side as usual. And what I've done here is I've first folded my fabric into two. And then I'm folding it again. So here I'm going to have 4 layers of fabric. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to measure for my hip. That's the biggest part of the lower body. So I'm going to check the hip measurement. The hip measurement for this is 43 inches. But because it's a stretchy fabric, I'm going to take away 3 inches from that. So I'm going to be working with 40 inches. So as I folded now, I'm looking to have 10 inches plus 1 for my allowance, which is 11 inches. So I'm going to be working with 11 inches. I'm going to measure out the length. The length I'm going to be using here is going to be 25 inches length plus 1 inch at the bottom to turn it in. And then I'm going to do 1.5 inches. So altogether I'm looking at 27 inches for the length that I'm going to be measuring out of this. So I'm just going to measure out 27 inches. We're going to be using elastic for this skirt. So what I'm doing now is just measuring out 27 inches. Then I'm going to join that point. To do the hip, I'm going to come from the top here and I'm just going to do 8 inches plus the 1.5 inches I'm going to be turning in at the top. That's 9.5 right here. So this is where I'm going to measure for my hip, and we've decided I'm going to be using the actual hip, which is 43 less 3 inches, because again this is a stretchy fabric. When you're doing a stretchy or a knit fabric, depending on how snug you want it to be, you can take away anything between 2 to 4 inches. I'm going to be doing 3 inches, so that is 10 inches, and I'm going to leave an allowance of 1 inch right there. And then it's going to be a pencil skirt, like I said. So I'm going to take 1 inch off of the end because I want it to shape out as a pencil skirt. So I'm going to do 10 inches at the end right here. And then what I'm going to be doing for the waist is the actual waist was 37. I'm going to take out 3 inches again. That leaves me with 34. If we divide that by 2, that will give us 17. And if we divide that again by 2, that will give us 8.5. So in other words, we're going to divide the 34 inches by 4 because we have folded this fabric and we have 4 layers of fabric. So we are cutting the front and the back together. So we're going to do 8.5 over here. And like I always explain, if it's difficult for you and you don't have a calculator handy, you can also look at your 34 inches on your tape measure and divide into 2. You have 17, so the front is 17, the back is 17. But because we have folded it, you want to divide again, and that gives you your 8.5. So that's another way you can quickly measure what you need. And then remember, we're going to put our allowance. We're going to be putting our seam allowance, which is going to be 1 inch. So we have 9.5. So what I'm going to do now will be to just connect all the lines. So I'm going to connect the hip area. There is not going to be a zipper, so that's why I'm measuring it from the complete fold. Both the front and the back have been folded because there is not going to be a zipper. Again, this is a stretchy fabric. When you're working with the stretchy or knit fabric, you don't need to put a zipper. So I'm just joining it from that end where I have my pencil, and then I'm just going to shape this out. And if you have a curve ruler, you can use that, or otherwise you can just do freehand and just join it from that top down here. Or you can also use your straight ruler, but then at the bottom here you have to reshape it and make sure it curves. And better still, if you have like a hip ruler, that is just excellent. So I'm just going to use the hip curve ruler. So again, this is no zipper and no darts. So now we're just going to go based on the lines we have made, and we're just going to cut this fabric. And that completes the cutting. Very easy, very simple. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to go to the sewing machine, and now I'm just going to go and I'm going to stitch it from one end of the side to the bottom of the skirt, and I'm going to go to the other side too, and I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to turn this right side out. So this is the pencil skirt. Next we're going to put an elastic waistband. So this is 2 inches less than the measurement I have here. This measurement is 34 and this is 32 inches. So I'm going to sew this. I'll start from one of the sides. I'll just open it up. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use my overlocking machine, and I'll just overlock it at the edge like that, all across. But I'll gently pull the elastic a little so that it can go all across, since it's a little shorter than the skirt. But be sure not to pull your skirt as you sew, because again, this is a knit fabric. You don't want to stretch the fabric. It's already a stretchy fabric. You don't want to stretch it as you sew along. So if you're pulling, the only thing you'll be pulling is the elastic. So I'm just going to use my serger, and I'm just going to use that to serge the edges, serging the elastic to the main body of the skirt. You can also use a zigzag stitch if you don't have a serger. So this is what it looks like. You can also just use as much elastic as you want and just first sew it all across and then clip off the excess. That's another way to do it. So what we're going to do now, like I said, this was serged onto the fabric from the wrong side. So we're going to fold it over now. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to come to the side, and I'm just going to use the sewing machine to attach it, to tack it down. I'm going to sew it across on the seam using the sewing machine, and that will hold it in place. And I will do so on both sides, and that should hold my skirt in place. And then finally I'm going to come down here to the end of it, starting from the center, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to use my sewing machine and use a zigzag and just put it all across like so, and just sew it all across. So this completes the skirt. Another thing you can do here, if you want, you can also go in and do a zigzag all across so that it ties it to the front. Otherwise you can use it like that. You can use bigger elastics too. So in that case, if you're using elastic that are much wider, then you would have incorporated that into the cutting when you were cutting the fabric. So this completes our pencil skirt. Thanks for watching. I hope you have found this tutorial helpful. If so, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to our channel. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.